From the Mercy One studio.
Man Up, brought to you by Construction Professionals, a program dedicated to inspiring and helping men live lives of heroic virtue. Join Joe Stopulos every Monday at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. on Iowa Catholic Radio. And now, it's time to Man Up.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Man Up on Iowa Catholic Radio. We are broadcasting from the Mercy One studio. Heard on 1150 AM, 88.5 FM, and 94.5 FM around the globe, streaming online at iowacatholicradio.com. I am Joe Stopulos, and it is Carathon Week. And today I'm going to talk quite a bit about the importance of supporting this great Catholic station. Also, we're going to have an interview I had on Friday with Bishop Joensen about the upcoming men's conference. So you get a little bit of all those things. Let's start in prayer. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. St. Michael, the Archangel, defend us in battle, be in protection against the wickedness and the snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray, and do thou, O Prince of the heavenly host, by the power of God, cast into hell Satan and all the evil spirits who prowl about the world, seeking the ruin of souls. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Carathon Week, one of my favorite times of the year, and I mean that with all sincerity. It's one of the ways I got into this station probably 8-9 years ago, a while ago. It is fun to be on the ground. 1150. Give us a call right now. Lines are open. We're happy to take your call, take your donations. We need your donations. There are many ways you can do it. You can call, have a conversation with one of these nice people who are working the lines right now. You can also go onto the Iowa Catholic Radio app. There's a place to donate there. On the website, you can go on. There's a nice place to donate there as well. You can now text donate to 515-223-1150. Text donate, and we will send you the link to which you can donate. Lots of ways to get involved. 515-223-1150. If you've ever been involved with a nonprofit or just in church finances or anything like that, you know one of the things that is most valuable, quite frankly, is reoccurring funds. We would love for you to give $30 a month. Can you do $30 a month to help this station out? Help to get the voice of the Catholic Church out on the radio waves at $30 a month. Those reoccurring gifts allow us to know every month how much money do we have in the budget. While, yes, we do appreciate the one-time gifts, and I'm a one-time giver as well. I love to give one time a year too. It's also great to have those reoccurring gifts. I mean, think about your church as well, your parish. When you're giving those reoccurring gifts, they know how much money roughly they can budget for in a month. It's the same thing here at the radio station. Can you give $30 a month to help keep this station going? And not just going, not just scraping by, but thriving. And you've seen it. Oh, man, if you were at that John Ricardo event this past December, you saw what this station is capable of. You saw just how good this station can be and the difference it's making. That was as good of an event as I've ever been to in my entire life, and that's because these carathons were doing well. We're doing a good job raising money to take this station to the next level. The way to do that, the way to help us out right now, 515-223-1150. Jimmy, jump on with me, buddy. Let's hear your voice. Listen.
You want to hear my voice?
Just say something. I mean, his voice is so great for radio. Listen to his professional quality. Dude, just give us a ditty.
A ditty? What do you want me to say,
Just say
Joe?
Something great in your great radio voice.
Something great.
Yeah. Now, make a pitch. Give the phone number, give the call number out, and just do it in your great radio voice.
Okay, so you want me to make that pitch of, considering at that $30 a month gift to support Iowa Catholic Radio and our mission, connecting people with Christ. It's through your gifts that keeps Iowa Catholic Radio on the air, and being an EWTN affiliate that keeps EWTN also in the area, all that great programming that you hear. And you can do that. Again, consider a $30 a month gift. You can give by calling us now, 515-223-1150, through the Iowa Catholic Radio app, online at iowacatholicradio.com. And again, something new, text donate to 515-223-1150. We will send a link back to you. Click on that link and you can complete that donation and support Iowa Catholic Radio. So we can hear great interviews that Joe is going to share with us right now about the men's conference, because again, it's the events and the different things. Your support helps us do that.
Stick around. We're going to head to a short break, but as Jimmy with his great voice just said, on the other side of this break, the interview Bishop Joensen had with me last Friday, we're going to broadcast for you when we return. Stick around.
Thank you, construction professionals, for underwriting Man Up. Construction professionals have been long supporters of Iowa Catholic Radio, and we've seen their work firsthand. It's very impressive. They do remodeling or new construction that is innovative, functional, and designing what you want. cpcustomhomes.com.
Support for Iowa Catholic Radio and John Lee and Eddie in the Morning is provided by Five Sons Naturescapes. Five Sons Naturescapes is a Catholic veteran-owned family company providing premium outdoor landscapes. Extend your living space outdoors with patios, pergolas, fencing, and retaining walls. Outdoor lighting is another way to enjoy your landscaping day and night. Five Sons Naturescapes will spend the time to understand your needs and create your perfect outdoor space. Learn more about Five Sons Naturescapes at fivesonsnaturescapes.com. Thank you to Five Sons Naturescapes for their support of Iowa Catholic Radio. Thank you to Confluence Brewing Company for underwriting Christ is the Answer with Father Ricardo, heard Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Confluence Brewing Company is a local brewery in Des Moines featuring seasonal and limited release beers. They have cans and growlers to go, apparel, and other gifts for family and friends. Live music is featured in the tap room. Confluence Brewing Company is located off the bike trail south of Grays Lake. Thank you to Confluence Brewing Company for your support of Iowa Catholic Radio on the web at confluencebrewing.com. That's confluencebrewing.com.
My help comes from you. You're right here pulling me through. You carry
In today's show, we're talking about next Saturday's Iowa Catholic Men's Conference, which will be held at the Embassy Suites in downtown Des Moines. Our guest today is event coordinator and presenter Joe Stopulos to tell us all about it.
So, Joe, good morning. It's good to have you here, and we've kind of encountered each other at various events in Des Moines and everything else. You were such a gentleman when you took my coat, and I was kind of wondering, who is this guy? Am I ever going to see my coat again? But there it was.
There it was.
So
you got it back. You got it back. Well,
so,
thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah,
it's fun to be on this side of the microphone, being interviewed. This is great.
Yeah. So those who've had me as a teacher in a previous life, this will not be an oral test in any way as well. But you're a man, a vocation, not just radio host, but a man of faith, family man, and everything else.
Try to be all those.
Yeah. So how many kids?
I have currently four.
Currently
four. It seems to be growing every year, which is good. It's a good thing. That's what we want.
Yeah. So this is a mystery, how this happened.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a great openness on your part
very open
for you and your wife.
Yes.
Yeah. So shout out to her here.
Listen, couldn't do without her, obviously. So she. Anytime I can talk highly of my wife, I do that because she couldn't have four kids going well without her. So.
Yeah. Do you guys get a date night? It's Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
here,
we tend to play it by ear. What do we have tonight? We're doing something. I don't know what it is. We usually do dinner at our house. We usually put the kids down and get the china out and do dinner together. I think we might be a bit booked tonight, but it'll be something very romantic. Trust me. Very, very romantic.
Oh, we won't dispel the secret here. Yeah, and I'm sure you've got this marvelous
listening.
plan.
I don't want to blow it. It's going to be great.
So you put the kids down, hopefully not in the veterinarian sense, but anyway. So dads of young children, men in general in our culture, and I think all of us, with social media and everything else, it seems like we're always on the go. And so this kind of busyness that's here, how with this event for the men's conference, you've kind of taken that into account as you've planned the schedule and everything else.
So what I have found, so I come at this from a few different lights. Obviously, with the show, I'm brought into men's ministry pretty frequently. But then secondly, I love going to these things. I remember the first Iowa Catholic Men's Conference probably 8 years ago. I remember leaving that and coming home and just being so psyched up. At the same time, I also realized that we see the same people there every year, and it's difficult to get new people to come, and a lot of that has to do with just the timing of it. And so we decided this year just to be very strategic in saying, what if we only did 3 hours of actual speakers? What if we made the whole event, including Mass, 4 hours, 4.5 hours, just a morning, to maybe attract guys like myself, who it's difficult to leave our wife and children for a full day and have a better opportunity to invite them in. So, yeah, it was definitely a leap of faith. John Leonetti's been helping me. He and I kind of spearheading this thing through a lot of conversations. And he knows of no other organization, no other men's conference that is just a morning. But we've had really good responses from a lot of the guys over the last few weeks on it.
Tremendous, yeah. So you get in, you get out, and you get back to the rest of your vocation.
Hopefully we've planted some seeds in the meantime, right? So that's the goal. Hopefully we've planted enough seeds in those 3 hours, 4 hours to really get guys excited about living their Catholic life.
So I know I had clear instructions either from you or your team. This is a low mass, Bishop Joensen.
It's a low mass.
Low mass.
Low mass, Bishop
No lengthy homily. Three minutes plus or minus. So I got to deliver on that, or you won't invite me back.
Listen,
here.
those were not my rules. I did not say 3-minute homily. You can go as long as you
Spirit
like.
impels me to speak. No, who am I? John Leonetti? No. But so we will honor that. And I
Okay.
think it's beautiful. I love kind of Saturday morning masses.
It'll be
a beautiful way to start out with the Eucharist
Yep.
and those who can join us for that.
Absolutely no. So that was more of a timing issue as well. And selfishly on my end, this being our first crack at the apple, don't want to overcomplicate things. And as you know, a mass at a hotel involves a lot of different things, a lot of moving parts. So we thought, what if we just made it very reverent, very tasteful, and just did a nice slow mass with yourself on Saturday morning. So we're looking forward to it.
After my Dowling experience a couple weeks ago, maybe we won't have both species. We'll just go with those. I can't let that go. I'm sorry. Just teasing. I know that the young man was traumatized. He shall remain nameless. But anyway, so we're working with him on that as well. So, besides you as a kind of marquee personality.
I would not use those words. Your words, not mine. I would say.
The Man Up Radio, Spirit Radio, and everything else. John Leonetti is going to be the MC in there as well. And is he giving a talk also?
So he will give what I would call lengthened MC responsibilities. So we're not going to have him do a formalized talk per se, but as you know, you give John a mic, he can go for a while. So I think that's the goal. Is we'll let John fill in whatever needs to be filled in. So he'll have some time with the mic.
Okay,
Yes.
So if he goes long, I'll hold up a big, silhouette of Theresa, his wife, kind of staring at him, glaring at him in that way. So, good. But we're ramping it up. You've got another big name coming in that gets some of us excited in a particular way.
Yeah, so I know you're an Iowa State fan. So while we agree on our Catholic faith, we might disagree on who we cheer for on Saturdays. That said, I put my faith above my fandom this time, Bishop Joensen. So we were very excited to get Matt Campbell. Matt Campbell, I know, is a devout Catholic. He's also obviously a very motivational speaker and just a great man. And so we were thrilled to get him, which wasn't actually – we didn't think it would happen, but we're glad that he said yes, to say the least. And we've had a lot of excitement around that. So I will be representing the Iowa contingent, I think, during this talk.
Well, he's used to going into hostile territory in Austin, Texas, or wherever it is, Iowa City. So this will be nothing. But and remember, hey, I had Gary Dolphin on in December as well. So
I heard that.
The Isaiah's prophecy is fulfilled as people, the wolf gets along with the lamb, and all these things that happen in that particular way. But no, you're right. These are passions that we have, but ultimately our passion for Christ and our great love and our desire to lay our lives down for him and to become ever more the disciples that God has called us to be in this particular way. So,
and I think when you're combining the sports piece to it, so obviously he brings this passion for football, and when we had Ricardo here, we talked before the show a little bit. When Ricardo was here, he uses these sports analogies a lot, and sports can point us to higher things. Sports has the ability, and Father John talks about it so often about the stadiums and how that's a vision of heaven. And the great athletes are the Hall of Famers are the saints. And there's a lot of great sports analogies. And also I think of just suffering, how much these athletes put themselves through suffering in order for a higher call. And St. Paul talks so often about this. To have someone like Matt Campbell who can bridge that gap between, I've been successful in sports. I've been in the trenches. But I also know the importance of faith. When you have someone like that, it really helps. It helps to get guys fired up because we can obviously – you see a lot of guys out there who are very quick to spend 6 hours on a Sunday watching football, but might not go to church. This guy's got that balance. I think when we have someone who can talk to both sides of that, football's important, it's great. But what's ultimately important is our faith. That's when we can really have that marriage of having the passion of sports that kind of inherent in a lot of guys, but also the realization that it's not important when it comes to faith.
And speaking as a diehard Cyclone fan, I think Cyclone fans appreciate this is a man who obviously is on the rise. He wants to win ardently, but at the same time, his commitment to the community and to his young men that he's brought into the fold, if you will. And so He's not just, ambitious in that worldly sense. He really, truly wants to form men in that holistic way. And so I think that's great, and that's very compelling for many of us. I mean, I think there were many doors that would open to him already, and he could have said, as some of his predecessors did, leave in the dark watches of the night, leaving the furniture in the house. But I think he and his family and, his 4 children also, so.
Another guy with 4 children. I'm noticing a theme here. Great man, 4 children. Okay,
4
good.
children, yeah. I don't know, yeah. So Jimmy and Julia Becker in Ankeny are probably saying, yes.
All these 4
So
children
all these
families.
people, so that's tremendous. So, yeah. We wished in my family that we'd only had 4, but then my youngest brother Tom came along, and so what are you going to do? But so we that rounded out the basketball team in that particular way. But anyway, back on track here. So with Matt Campbell, and he's going to be a draw for people across the aisle, if you will, in that particular way. What else is happening in this very intense, compact morning?
Yeah, so there's a lot going on. So obviously, Mass with yourself, Bishop. So thank you for agreeing to do that at 7:30. And then really, depending on the length of the homily, I can't give a full detailed description. But after Mass is concluded,
Breakfast is served at 8:10.
yeah,
right?
so it'll be somewhere in the 8 o'clock hour. There'll be coffee and juice and donuts and whatever else we have served. I'm making a push for granola bars, so those will be there for guys who cannot eat donuts during Exodus 90. And then 9 o'clock, so there will be confessions too during that 8 o'clock hour. There'll be confessions. There'll be confessions all day. We're really timing it out. The confessions, we have more priests available during the break. So between 8 and 9, after Matt Campbell's speech, after my speech, we'll have extra time for confession. So a lot of room for confession there at the 8 o'clock hour. And then Matt Campbell, the whole thing kicks off at 9 a.m. John Leonetti will get us all fired up, and then Matt Campbell will speak after John. Have a break again for more confession time around 10. Then I will deliver a talk, let's call it 10:45. I don't have the exact schedule in front of me, but somewhere in there for probably an hour. And that's going to be a lot more about rediscovering our call to authentic masculinity. I really feel we've lost, and this is mostly stuff I've discovered from the show, just over 5 years of interviews. We've lost a lot of that, the true sense of masculinity, of what our call is as men, as fathers, as brothers. And so how do we rediscover that? What does that look like in today's world? What are some tangible things we can do as men? And so you mentioned at the beginning of the show, silence. How do we find that silence? I'll talk a lot about that. For a guy who talks a lot and has got a radio show, I think silence is really important. But that's part of what we've got to do.
Because there are forces in our culture that kind of want to keep men in a state of suspended adolescence, if you will, right? 100%. To capitalize on that
100%.
With athletics or things like that. And again, ardent sports fans, but at the same time, there's something greater here that might be there.
Yeah, and that's the whole
gaming, pornography, all of these things,
and they'll all be talked about. Will all be talked about, and I think hopefully with Matt Campbell bringing in people who otherwise might not come to one of these. So there's also another reason we're doing an Embassy Suites. Hopefully there are men out there that, gosh, I don't know if I could make it to, Catholic Church maybe is a bit off-putting to step into. Well, this is we purposely did this to get people who maybe otherwise wouldn't come. And then, really, I think it's on me. I've delivered this similar talk a few other times, and I think that's really the message I've got is that we, especially as young fathers, I've got a message for every age group, whether you're a teenager, 20-year-old, 30, wherever you're at in life, I've got a message for you, and I'll hit it on it. But I really want, I think we need to have young fathers for the future of the church to step up, to man up, quite frankly, and be the leaders that they're called to be, because that's where you're going to have the next generation of great men. Is if they have great fathers, they'll follow in the footsteps. And so that's what really my call is, a clarion call to get out there and to embrace what God's called you to, because masculinity is not something to shy away from, but we've got to embrace it and embrace it in a way that makes sense, the way that we're actually supposed to embrace it.
Tremendous. I mean, I think, Paul saying to Timothy, remember, stir into flame that spirit, so that you can be strong, loving, and wise, but that we can blend with that compassion of Christ that he brought, the great mercy that he's there. So obviously on Valentine's Day, couples are, love is in the air and everything else, but how about men who maybe haven't found a life partner, men who maybe feel themselves called to the single vocation, or maybe that's kind of where they are on this pilgrim path? Would they feel welcome here, or is it all going to be talk about how you love your wife?
Absolutely not. Yeah, so there will be parts of all of those things, and I definitely have a call for the men who are single, maybe who have discerned into single life, or maybe who have not gotten married yet. No matter the age, and really, I speak a lot about the virtues and how our lives, regardless of where we're at, but especially when we're in the single life, is to be developing virtues. Temperance, okay, here we go. Fortitude, temperance, justice, and prudence. What those mean, how those are lived out in our lives. And then how does that manifest itself in a good Christian life of masculinity? How are we leading those around us? So, yeah, they're not getting off the hook, Bishop. They're not off the hook.
Okay. And then, once they're present, do you kind of have them? You have their data, their things. Are they going to expect to be followed up on, or can they kind of feel free that any further self-disclosure is free and voluntary? Or
That's a great question. So we are building what I would call a men's movement, and this is the first step of that. So I interviewed the people in Milwaukee, which is really where we're trying to model this after. They have 3,500 men every year attend their conference. It's an 11-hour conference. It starts at 7 in the morning, goes till 6 at night. Every week of the year, they have 50 parishes. They average 50 guys at the parish. Every week, they have 2,500 men a week attending men's ministry. That's what could happen. And so that's what we're looking for. So the call to action will be, we just want your email, we want your name, we want to know where you live, roughly, so parish. And then let us help build this. Let us make that first step to get men back to their call. Because that's, as you know, you can't live on an island. We're not called to live on islands. You need other men in this fight who are dealing with the same things you're dealing with to help strengthen each other. And I'll talk a lot about friendship. Aristotle has a vision of friendship. There's friendships of convenience and friendships of virtue. We need those friendships of virtue, and that's what this is going to help us to develop.
you're singing my song there when you bring in Aristotle and the virtues as well. So, I can do my riff on that, but I'll spare you right now. But no, that's tremendous. And, that, like you say, to have, because and there may be men who they don't even have a parish connection right now. But where can they find a group of men, who are striving for the highest things in this way, consoled that we are flawed sinners, that we need to constantly be reminded God's love is unconditional for us, and that trust that when we open our hearts and our souls, that we are accepted by God and accepted by our brothers in Christ too, and the kind of that strength that comes from that resiliency that we want to have woven into our lives. So, well, it's very excited. This will be my first one, my inaugural one, as with so many.
My first
so many things this year, and I'll probably be wearing my red and gold vestment, chasuble, just to make sure. I hope it's a Feast of a Martyr, so I can wear cyclone colors on that day. I'm trying to remember, but tremendous. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Stick around. We're going to head to a short break, and we will be right back.
Why do folks give to the Catholic Tuition Organization? Probably because they love Catholic schools, right? Well, partially, but they also like the tax benefits, or they were helped when their kids were in school, or they have been blessed and want to bless others. Whatever the reason, the 65% tax credits are great, and after all, it's for the kids and their future. Online, ctoiowa.org.
Thank you, Dental Associates, for underwriting Dowling Catholic Sports 365. With over 40 years' experience, Dental Associates is a group dental practice with the mission of promoting optimum health and well-being to all patients, providing preventative, restorative, and cosmetic dentistry for the entire family. Message underwritten by Dr. Kenton Gleichman, Dr. Steve Karbaka, Dr. Christine Mulcahy, and Dr. Ben Nagel. Dental Associates, addressing your smile, needs, and dreams. Online at DesMoines-DentalAssociates.com.
My help comes from you. You're right here pulling me through. You carry my weight.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Man Up on Iowa Catholic Radio. I should say my thanks to Bishop Joensen, I suppose, for having me on the show, but it was fun. A lot of fun to be able to talk with the bishop about that. And you can tell he's dialed in. He understands the mission that we have here to get men. And he also understands the mission of Iowa Catholic Radio, which is why he is, from the first day he came here, he said, yep, I'm in. I'm going to do a show every single week for this station. Support our station. You support Bishop Joensen and what he's doing with the station. 515-223-1150. It is the beginning of Carathon Week, and we need your help. As we mentioned in the first part, really, we'd love to have a $30 a month pledge if you can afford it. If you can help us out, understand that really gives us that money that we know shows up every month would be great. 515-223-1150. You can go to the app.
you can go to iowacatholicradio.com. You can do many different ways. In fact, you can text us again now at 515-223-1150. Text the word donate, and we will send you the link right to your phone. As Jimmy mentioned in the first segment as well, we are an EWTN affiliate, which means that by supporting us, you're keeping EWTN on the air here in Des Moines. I can't tell you, if you've ever heard me on Carathon Week, you know that having 100% Catholic programming is not something that's easy to do. But it takes support. It takes support of community. That's why we're asking you to help. 515-223-1150. Jimmy, we're going to bring you back on. How you doing, brother?
I am doing all right. How about you?
Beginning of Carathon Week. Great week, baby.
And you thanked the bishop for allowing you to plagiarize exactly. Interview of you.
He should be thanking me, but I didn't make him do that. It's this week's always fun for me because this is actually how we got the show. For better or for worse, Father Zach and I hosted one of these. I'll call it 6 years ago. I don't know what it was. It was a long time ago. And that's how the Man Up show started, was on a Carathon. We were both talking about how much we love this station and how we're supporters of it. And sure enough, one thing led to another. We were having so much fun on the station that it bred an entire show, which has been going on for 5 years now.
Which turned into, the Man Up lunches. Yep. Of course, we have the men's conference, which is happening this week. We just had the lunch on Friday. And that's another part of what you do by giving $30 a month is keeping that path open for the many events that we do through Iowa Catholic Radio. The golf outing that we're going to have again in June, so our second annual for that. So it's all through your
Men's
gift.
Stag. Don't forget the Men's Stag.
That's right. $30 a month. Would you consider making that gift? And you can do that at 515-223-1150 or by texting the word donate if you're not able to make that call right now, but you can text that to 515-223-1150. You'll get a link back. Follow that link, and then you can go ahead and make that donation. iowacatholicradio.com or the Iowa Catholic Radio app.
And Jimmy, as I've now seen from this side of the table, helping put on, now that I'm in charge of putting on the men's conference, what Iowa Catholic Radio does to allow these conferences and all these events to happen, not just hosting them, but the work that goes into it in the back end to make them professionally done, I didn't quite realize it until I was on the driver's seat over on this side of it to watch, what Iowa Catholic Radio, the power Iowa Catholic Radio has, not just in the airwaves and putting shows on, but putting events on to connect Catholics and to help them grow in their faith. Help us support the mission. 515-223-1150. No donation too small. No donation obviously too large. We can handle it. They have assured us that we can handle any donation size, right, Jimmy?
I'm sure. Joe, if you want to go ahead and just write us a check for $1 million right now,
that would bounce.
Joe Stopulos.
I can assure you that would bounce. $30 a month, though. A lot of people can afford that.
Deacon Tony said he'll give you a loan.
Just leave our cars at the red light and go home.
Again, Carathon Week, we only come to you twice a year. Twice a year we come to you begging and pleading, asking for your money, 515-223-1150. Thank you for your support of Iowa Catholic Radio, and thank you for listening today on Iowa Catholic Radio. I am Joe Stopulos. It's time to man up.
Man Up, inspiring men to live out their call to holiness with Joe Stopulos. Heard Mondays at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. on Iowa Catholic Radio. Brought to you by Construction Professionals.